As COVID cases surge in the U.S., European cases are flattening just in time for the holidays. ABC News foreign correspondent Maggie Rulli has more on that. Maggie, it sounds like Europe is finally flattening that curve. How are they doing it, and what does this mean for restrictions there going into Christmas?
Yeah, Dan, this is a little bit of good news here. You know, most of Europe went into a fairly strict lockdown last month. Here in the UK, we've been in a near total lockdown for a month, very similar to what we saw at the beginning of this pandemic. And this was widespread across the continent. And the past week or so, we've really starting to see our efforts pay off. Those levels are definitely flattening out. And so, Dan, like you asked, the big question is, what does this mean for Christmas? Holidays are just weeks away. Everyone wants to celebrate with their families around the world. But leaders say they're cautious. They want to slowly come out of these lockdowns. So here in the UK, our official total lockdown ends on Wednesday, but it's not going to be sort of a free-for-all. We're going into a tiered system here in London. We still won't be able to mix with households, but countries say they're doing this for Christmas. So they're also imposing something called sort of a 5 days of Christmas here in the UK, where for just those 5 days, you can mingle with up to 3 households. So, Dan, still may have to invite the in-laws over, but I think we're all looking for a little bit of that family time right now. We're seeing sort of a similar rollout potentially happening in places like Germany and France as well. So by locking down now, they're hoping that for a few days, at least around Christmas, they'll be able to ease up on some of these restrictions.
Yeah, crossing fingers for that. And Maggie, you know, here in the U.S., we often look to Europe as a guide for what we can be experiencing coming soon, because you guys tend to be a couple of weeks to a few weeks ahead of us. So what do you think this means for Americans? How much should the U.S. be looking at this as a foreshadowing of what's to come here?
Well, Dan, what's really interesting this time around is that, yes, it's very true. Like you said, most of the times Europe has been a couple weeks or a month ahead of America. But this time it's different because this time Europe really locked down again, something that we haven't seen, happen widespread across the United States. And also here in Europe, we didn't have Thanksgiving. We didn't have that massive travel day that you guys saw in the States just a few days ago. So this time around, things are going to be, I think, a little bit different between the two continents. But something to definitely be on the lookout for in the States is that if places do start to lock down, perhaps they'll be able to ease some of those restrictions around Christmas. I think that's something that, people sort of across the world right now are looking towards the holidays as a chance to maybe come together. But again, if we're living through these surges right now, authorities are still saying be cautious. Just because Christmas is here, it doesn't mean that COVID is going anywhere.
No, but Maggie, we do also, in addition to looking forward to the holidays and hopefully being able to see family, there's that great vaccine news. It looks like we now have 2 that are right around the corner, and we're not just going to have them here in the U.S., but they're also going to Europe. So what do we know about the vaccine rollout there?
Yeah, Dan, this is really the holiday news that everyone has been waiting for, these vaccines. We're seeing a lot of optimism around it. Here in Europe, there is just a massive rollout operation underway. In the UK right now, we're seeing vaccination centers that are being constructed. We're seeing volunteers being trained in how to administer this vaccine. So authorities are doing absolutely everything they can so that the second these vaccines get approval here in the UK, they'll be rolled out nearly immediately. But in terms of an exact date, Diane, it's still somewhat up in the air. Data is currently being analyzed, so we're not sure when that process is going to be completed. But we do know they have an emergency authorization process happening right now. And there are some estimates that the approval could happen as early as this week or early next week. So, Diane, we could be just a few days or a few weeks away from seeing vaccines actually being administered here in the UK, which I think everyone would say is just kind of the sight that would be a sigh of relief, something that we all want to see this season.
Yep, something that can't come soon enough. Maggie Rulli for us in London. Thanks, Maggie. Stay safe.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.